Good morning. I want to wish everybody a beautiful 4th of July weekend today. Hope you guys have a safe and happy one. I just want to welcome everyone back to my channel. I'm Cowboy Bob, and this is my country line dance instructional series. Today I want to talk to you about some of the terms associated with dancing. So first term we want to go over is your beat. Beat is a musical count or musical count associated with the heavy part of the music. So that would be something similar to when you hear your instructor going 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the beat of the music itself. Those numbers are your count. Those are the numbers that we're assigning to the beat of the music. Now, a better way to understand beat for the most part is the tempo or the timing of that music. So when you're sitting in your car for the most part, you're listening to a song and you feel your foot going along with the song. When your foot bops to the music, it's bopping along to the beat of the music itself, that heaviness in that music. An example of that would be this. So when we go over the count here, being that musical number that we associate with the beat to keep in time with the music as we're dancing, you can either have a straight count or a syncopated count. Your straight count would be 1, 2, 3, 4. The syncopation is that area in between that heavy hard count, and it would be signified by the term end. So it would be 1 and 2, 3 and 4. I'm going to play a little song here, Brady Seal's Country as a Boy Can Be, so that you can hear the beat that I'm talking about, how we associate the count, straight count, and a syncopated count to that as well. So you'll be able to hear that start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's your straight count with that. You can hear that in the music itself. If you want to do syncopation with that, what you would have to do is get those end beats in between those hard beats at 1 and 2, right? So you'll hear it in the music here. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8. So you can hear it's actually a lot faster. Syncopation is a faster movement or a faster count than is your straight count in itself, which means that the movement that we're going to have to do when we have our dancing going on will have to be slightly quicker than your straight count in itself. The next thing you want to talk about and discuss are your walls and your clock. So this may come a little bit more difficult for those people that we just brought up on your digital clocks. For us analog people, it's going to be a little bit easier to understand. You have a clock on the wall, and you have a 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and a 9 o'clock. We're going to associate those times with walls that we do. So now, there's usually 4 walls in a dance, and it goes around that square, you know. So what we're going to do is I'm going to just turn around real quick here. I'm going to show you my 12 o'clock wall. So I want to be in the orientation that is similar to what you're going to be looking at on the television or on the YouTube screen here, where my left foot will be your left foot, my right foot will be your right foot. So it makes it a little bit easier for you to understand this. So I'm looking at my 12 o'clock wall here. The wall to my right is my 3 o'clock wall. The wall behind me is my 6 o'clock wall. The wall to the left of me is my 9 o'clock wall. So when I'm dancing, I start my dance off on my home wall, my 12 o'clock wall. At some point in time, we're going to change that wall in itself. May it be to the right or the left, I'm going to wind up ending the dance on a new wall. So I'm ending my dance on my 3 o'clock wall. Now, in order for us to go through the dance again, we have to just change our frame of reference with this. And what I mean by that is this wall now becomes your 12 o'clock wall. So everything you did on that original wall is the exact same, but it's on a different wall now. So your frame of reference has just changed. But if you pretend that is your 12 o'clock, here's your 3 o'clock, there's your 6 o'clock, and to the left of you is your 9 o'clock. So nothing actually does change in that whatsoever, okay? I want to talk about tags and restarts as well. A lot of people keep asking me about tags and restarts. What are they? Why do they have to be there? It's not the choreographer's fault. Basically, what tags and restarts are there's places in the music from the musician where they decided to either take out or add some musical timing from the song itself. We as dancers have to make that up then. So a tag is you have to add some counts to your dance so that you can keep up with the tempo of what's going on. So an example of that would be, say, we have a dance out there and it's a right vine with a left vine, and then you go into a rocking chair. Well, for some reason, something happens in that song, and between that left vine and right vine, you have to add a couple of steps before you can start your dance over again. So it would be right vine, left vine, and say maybe do a rocking chair again, chair, then start the dance again. So you're just adding some counts to your dance in itself. Restarts is where basically they're just really stopping that beat of the music for a second, and it's changing the dynamics of the song. We have to stop what we're doing in the middle of our dance and restart the dance so that we can keep up with the proper beat and the tempo of the music itself. So that's a tag and a restart. Like I said, it's not the choreographer, though they do make the dance a lot of fun, but unfortunately it does kind of make those dances almost unique to the songs themselves. Whereas in the older dances that we have out there, dizzies, things of that nature, they're so much more versatile because they can go to a variety of different songs. Whereas a lot of the dances today, they're kind of just boxed in to just one song in itself. Kind of takes the fun out of it a little bit. Okay, so the other thing I want to talk about to you is weight change. So you can see what I'm doing right now. I'm changing my weight on my feet as I'm standing here. So we're going to utilize that as well in our dances because we have to understand where the weight is when we're moving. So a lot of the dancing that we're going to do is going to rely on which foot the weight is on, what foot I can move next. All right, so and changing that weight so that I can do the next move appropriately. So what I mean by that is if you turn around here again, we're going to usually start that weight with on the left for our dances. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a quick rock motion. So I'm just going to change my weight. I'm going to rock forward, change the weight to the right, rock back, change that weight to the left. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about by weight change in itself. I'm changing where the weight is on those feet so that I can appropriately do the next move. Aside from those terms, we're going to start getting into some basic moves in the next video here. Just want to go over some of those rules for the floor. Now, you'll hear a lot of people and talk about dance floor etiquette. Line dancers, a lot of bars, a lot of places have not so many nice things to say about the line dancers because they feel that they kind of take over the floor. Line dancers, you should be keeping it nice and tight. You should be keeping it in the middle of the floor, not taking over the entire floor in itself, leaving no room for anyone else to do anything. Couples dancers, you guys as well need to keep it tight on that outside ring. So line dancers, be mindful of your couples dancers. Remember, couples dancers have the right of way when it comes to the floor. They should get priority. They're going around that outside edge over there. You don't want to be taking your line dance all the way to the edge of the floor when you got a couple or a couple of couples coming along where they may have to stop or they'll be in the middle of a turn or something. So they have limited ability to make corrections in their dancing, whereas we have a little bit more ability to do so. So just kind of keep that towards the middle of the dance floor itself and just be respectful of each other, okay? We're all trying to enjoy ourselves and have a good time, and that's the best way to do it. Also, help those other people on the floor. When you see some new people on the floor out there, really get out there, and if you know the dance, if you know what you're doing, get out there and try to instruct them on what they're doing. Now, you'll know there's a difference. There's a difference between that one drunk guy that's just going out there and acting like an idiot and being a fool, and someone who's going out there and really trying to learn the dance, but they may have 2, 3, 4 left feet and they're just not getting it right now. They just can't follow along on their own. So it really, you know, we all came from a beginner's point of view. We didn't know what we were doing when we first stepped on the floor. I didn't know when I first stepped on the floor what the hell I was doing. And it was a total disaster. I would go left when they would say right. I was on my left foot and I was supposed to be on my right. But I had a lot of people around me that were able to just nudge me along the right way on the floor, where I didn't become frustrated with the fact that I didn't know what I was doing and getting it wrong and leave the floor completely. Okay, I'd be in a completely different place in my life now had I ever just walked away from a dance floor. So really help each other out in there. You know what? That could be your next instructor. You don't know, okay? Guy could be in a bad place and this is what's really helping him along in his life right now. So, you know, help somebody along every now and then. The third rule that I like to go over that's more controversial in itself are the drinks on the dance floor. Now, two schools of thought on this, and I see both sides of the story. We'll say it that way. I understand that drinks on the dance floor can be a safety issue for dancers in themselves. You get a spill on the floor, you hit that wet spot, heel goes up, and your butt's on the floor then. You're gonna really hurt yourself. And I understand that. And that should be something that we take into account or consideration. But also, we live in a day and age now where women do not feel comfortable leaving their drinks on a table to go out and dance, to come back to that drink, not knowing what, if anything, was done with that drink. Now, unfortunately, we live in a world where this is more common practice for people to think they're being funny, doing it for the wrong reasons or whatnot, but putting drugs into some drinks, whether it be a guy or a girl's drink, doesn't matter. Either way, it's unacceptable behavior, but it does seem to go on. Luckily enough, we don't seem to have that going on here at my establishment down here, County Line, but I've heard that it does happen and there is that concern for that. So I think we have to be a little bit more mindful of the fact that this is a safety concern for these people that are bringing their drinks on the floor. Yes, where I'm from, we have drinks on the floor, but everyone is very careful about what they're doing with their drinks. If they have the drink in their hand, they're not doing the spins, they're not doing the kicks, high kicks, they're not jumping around with everything, so they're not spilling their drinks for the most part. So you gotta look at that as well, as who's doing it. And if you do see somebody that's actually spilling on the floor, just ask them to step to the side or whatnot, or get one of the bouncers to take care of that. But really, don't blame the person for doing something that they feel is more in their safe issue. Okay, so I'm going to thank everybody for checking this video out. The next video we do is going to be our basic moves in itself. So we're going to start going over some of those moves as shuffles, touches, walks, struts, rock recovers. These are the things that are going to be those real core basic moves that you need in order to start to really get started in that line dancing community and world. All right, guys, have a great week and enjoy yourselves. Have a happy and safe 4th of July. Take care, guys.